Hello, and welcome to Comic Conspiracy, episode 156 for the week of April 28th, 2014. I'm mostly Ryan Higgins. I'm partially sick. Who else is here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Omar, stay away from me.
Yeah, I'm back here. Don't worry.
And Bryce. Come a little bit closer.
Hey. Toby should be here soon. I think he's grabbing some food, then he's going to be here. But this train don't wait for no man. So let's talk about some comic books.
You're not like Obama, huh?
No. I don't wait for anyone. So last week we talked about how there was no news from WonderCon, and it just overshadowed this week by how much news came from C2E2, which is the big Chicago Comics and Entertainment Expo in Chicago. I think that's what it stands for. That sounds right. There was so much stuff from C2E2. So
yeah, the biggest shit has to be what Dan Didio dropped.
We're going to talk about some of that. What did Dan Didio drop?
About how fucking everything's going to reset. They're going to have a big wide event, and it's going to go back. They're going to do like another fucking crisis, and we're going to have all of our characters back again.
I missed that one.
Oh, cool.
All right. Well,
that broke today.
Let's talk about news that actually was talked about.
Oh, okay.
Are you serious? What are you talking about?
March 2015, all the fucking titles are all the regular titles are ending.
I think you misread something.
Oh, okay.
March 2015, all the weekly series are ending.
Oh. One of you is right. And
Batman Eternal, Future's End, and World's End, which is the recently announced third series, the Earth 2 book. It's very possible that the New 52 will end in March 2015. We talked about this last week briefly. That is totally something that could happen. But yeah, this was mentioned last week that all three of the weekly series are ending in March. So something major is happening 1 year from this month, so April 2015. But we don't know what.
Yeah, I mean, talking mainly about New Gods and how it's going to be like, New Gods against,
Well, they're setting up the Forever people and the Infinity Men and whatever. So yeah, they're doing more New Gods stuff.
Can you said the words white event? Is that just
he didn't say
speculation?
White event, but I just said that as a troll.
Okay. It was a great troll. I was like, what?
Yeah.
0 Hour 2.
Because supposedly Didio was the one that didn't want New 52 to happen. He was the one guy that didn't want to go forward with it, according to all the press that was out released.
Well, I didn't want it to go for. You mean
it was
at
all
DC?
pushed by Jim, Jeff, and Diane.
Let's have a question here from Larry from Larry's Comics back east.
Hey, Larry.
Larry, I know, plays this in his shop while customers are there, so pardon all the swearing and the Game of Thrones spoilers. But this is a question we've talked about a number of times here. He says, has the New 52 numbers settled below pre-New 52 DC numbers at the shop? Batman aside, they haven't mine. I'm going to say it's probably about the same line wide. The only problem is... and maybe it's a little bit less line-wide, but there's kind of a lot less books than there are now. Batman is number one by such a large margin that offsets. Literally, Batman is selling what 10 pre-New 52 books used to sell. Like the low end. Batman is on such a crazy level for us right now. And that kind of extends line-wide with the Bat titles. Detective is still doing 20 to 30% more. Batman and Robin didn't... Well, it wasn't doing as what it was during the Morrison arc, but it's still doing really well. It's doing better than a lot of the books were pre-New 52.
You're talking about Batman and Aquaman?
Yeah, Batman and. Sure. And the Justice League books are, again, twice what they were doing previous. And there's three of them instead of one shitty Justice League book.
Well, I know one book that's under Green Lantern.
But Green Lantern is about 50%. All the weird side tier books. But if you think all those books have been canceled.
Green Lantern is... above what it was?
No, under. Like 60%.
Yeah. Come on, bro. Quit lying. I was like, what the fuck? Venditti cannot sell a book.
No,
and they put him on Flash, and everyone's going to jump off that shit too.
Well, Flash 30. We'll talk about Flash 30 later in the episode.
No, I'm looking forward to having some biracial action happening to a major character.
Yeah, big stuff. But no, Green Lantern is at about 30 to 40% of what it was selling. Not even at the peak. At the peak, we're down to 15, 20%. Of what Green Lantern was selling at the height of like Blackest Night.
Well, Green Lantern was like the number one book.
Oh yeah,
Green Lantern almost
over what Batman is right now for us. Yeah, Green Lantern was easily 100, 150 a month seller. We don't have nothing like that now. So yeah, but in the whole industry is kind of like that. So yeah, if there was a big relaunch of DC out of the New 52, hopefully that would spike interest for a little while. I know I would get a lot of people back in reading because The people reading now are just the people who are always reading. All those new readers that came in for New 52 are all gone. So it's, they were there for the spectacle of the number ones, and as expected, they all left. So, yeah, I mean, right now my total DC numbers are down. However, if you go by a per-book basis, they're actually still up, but not what they were. That 2011 was absolute madness for DC. I mean, we're talking they were selling in a month what I would normally sell like in 6 to 9 months previously. I mean, DC books those first few months were just off the charts. Literally, they were the top. They were like 50 of the top 52 spots that month. It was nuts. But yeah, obviously that wasn't going to last. And here's Toby. But I there's no way to match that success. The Marvel Now stuff has shown that they're not going to reach that success again, and the New 52 stuff, obviously, short of a couple books, is selling bad. So, but if you look at what pre-New 52 was doing, the sales were so miserable on the DC books. They were bad.
Oh no, I still remember them having some great books there. I remember Batgirl.
There was.
Batgirl was incredible,
and
Booster Gold was awesome,
and all those were like 25,000 copy sellers.
Perez, Brian Q. Miller,
but they just didn't sell.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing you do about it.
Yeah,
so yeah, I think DC is in a slightly better position than it was, but it's still far from what it could be. So that's their own problem. But WonderCon, sorry, not WonderCon, C2E2. Fuck WonderCon. WonderCon has nothing. Yes, Vendetti. Some interviews here on Comic Resources and Flash issue 30 from this last week. So some Flash spoilers here if you haven't read them. You want to be careful. But yeah, so Wally, as we've been hearing for a while, is coming back. Is back. They showed him in Flash 30, so everyone's rushing to grab that issue. And then the annual this week, I think, is his full story. And the bigger news of all of it is, as Omar said earlier, he is no longer a white redheaded kid from the Midwest. He's now 12, biracial, and dead. So, exactly. The first time you see him, he's dead. Yeah. So now Barry's gonna go figure out what the hell happened and try to save him. That's his first arc.
Interesting. I can't wait to find out what happens. I'm sure he ends up dead.
Yeah. Well, when we see him, he's older, so it's like I don't know how that happens, but he'll be 16 or whatever when they actually put him in the books. But he is Iris West's nephew. His father is one of Iris's brothers that we haven't met yet, according to it's article on Comic Resources. So this seems like it's going to try to line up slightly with the show because Iris West in the Flash TV show is
it's
black.
A black chick, yeah.
And so I don't know. Did I miss? Was Iris? Iris has been in it, and she's white.
Iris wasn't on Arrow.
No, in the comics. No, in the comics.
Yeah, no.
She's been white. Yeah, so it must be her brother's, one of Iris's brothers' wife.
Wally's baby's
black. So
baby's daddy is black.
Well, no. Mother would be black. Because Iris's brothers would all be white.
Baby's mommy.
Assuming, unless adopted or something like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm assuming this is just to kind of try to line it up with the TV show, which is going to be slightly more multiracial throughout the cast, as opposed to just a bunch of white people running around.
Yeah, it's awesome to have a little Native American kid on there. I love it.
Oh, did you see Arrow with?
No, man, I don't watch Arrow at all.
You missed out, man. You missed out. We'll talk. We'll talk more.
How
And we can talk more Arrow later. But this last episode was nuts. No spoilers right now, so don't worry about it. But two of the characters that are going to appear in the Flash show were in the last episode of Arrow.
Last two.
Huh?
Last 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well, was that 2 episodes ago? Or was this last episode?
Because you first saw them 2 episodes ago when they were.
Oh, that was 2. Okay.
And Deathstroke comes around and does his fucking Jason scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, was that white noise technology he fired at him?
Maybe. Yeah. Like Vibe and Killer Frost were in it as
regular
people working for Star Labs. Yeah. So
was Vibe a custodian?
No. Dang.
But I will say this about the last episode of Arrow. I think I tweeted right after That happened in Arrow. Damn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now we'll talk Arrow spoilers.
Hashtag
later,
Don
so.
Sterling. Fuck racism.
Jesus.
Yeah. What do you mean, Jesus?
So
Wait, Jesus.
let's talk. Let's stop talking. Let's stop talking about things that cause people to complain about racism. Let's talk about a biracial Wally West, okay? Because not like everyone online has been like, he's not white anymore. I hate DC. Whatever.
But he's biracial and he's black and blue. That's hella racial.
If the
There's no hope in there. There's no hope involved in that.
that costume. What is that? Is that actually? Remember, we don't know who is that costume. I don't think they've said that that's Wally.
No,
because there's that black and blue Flash black costume with like white lightning bolt stuff. So
Well, at the end of this,
like bluish white.
Spoilers, at the end of Flash 30, it's Barry in that costume.
Yeah. So there's a split picture of Wally and Barry both.
That's in the Channel 52 thing.
Right, Barry in both costumes.
Yeah.
at
But at the end of issue 30, Barry's in the blue costume.
Yeah, in the future.
Yeah, in the future.
Yeah. So I will be curious to see what they do with that.
All right, moving on. Next news.
Not that anyone didn't know this, but Scott Snyder is bringing the Joker back in, assumingly, the next arc of Batman.
Okay, I have a quick question. How was this even news? I mean, the Joker reappears in a Batman book. How
because
did
they
this?
Because they need to do something after the
drawn out
year-long 0 year just boringness that's been this last year of Batman. They need to go back at the Joker because we need to get some energy back to the Bat titles. Because your year has been okay. It's just like, good Lord, man, this has been dragging on for so long.
I think I've talked to people about it in the shop, and it's like they're like, oh, it's taking so long, and I think it's one of those things where I said, if DC kind of said, hey, we're going to go take Batman titles to the 0 year so we don't have to deal with anything Forever Evil, I think people would have been like, okay, but everyone's after, Court of Owls, Night of Owls, and then, Death of the Family, they're itching for another Snyder current Batman story.
This feels like Green Lantern, the John's run after the Sinestro Corps War when it writes the Secret Origin, and you're like, and all this momentum, bleh. Bleh. It's just kind of... Again, I'm not saying these arcs are necessarily bad, but they just feel so just dull compared to what's come before.
It's tough for me when I read and view Capullo's art too. I feel the same way. It's okay.
Capullo's art's fine. You were very snarky today, Omar. Is everything all right?
Yes, I agree with the Green Lantern sort of parallel. Not terribly excited. Don't know how it's news. I don't know how it's news. Very, very boring.
It's a DC store, bro. Come on.
Hopefully.
Sorry,
hey,
good point.
You're telling me that another Joker arc after the success of the last one is not news? I think it is.
Yeah, but there's
What?
no way
You
that
just
can top
that was
that.
like a redundant comment.
Okay.
Because it was so successful, they're having another Joker arc.
Okay,
yeah,
you want
no fucking shit.
You want some news? You want some news that'll blow your mind?
Oh my god!
Are you ready? Are you
Please
ready?
Make it be about Man of Steel.
Are you ready? Oh, the movie stuff will come later.
Oh damn!
Marvel
Okay.
is going to kill Wolverine.
Okay.
What to do?
We already know there's two
how
of them
could I-
out there.
If that
Okay?
is not news,
Wait, what?
You don't remember Age of Ultron?
Unfortunately, I do remember it.
Yeah.
Actually,
he-
no. That's not fair. I
That's
did like
their
Age
out.
of Ultron. I just didn't like the last issue.
That's their out.
the other Wolverine killed himself.
Yeah, that's what we think.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, so there in the upcoming arc, Wolverine 8 to 12.
No way.
Yeah.
There's a it's called 3 Months to Die, over 5 issues, probably over 3 months. Yeah, they're killing Wolverine. This is the arc. Yeah.
That's fine.
Is it going to come with a black poly bag and like the claws crossed on the symbol in front?
Maybe. There's going to be this world without Wolverine.
Actually, nowadays, like if there was actually two, like you're saying, and that like one gets killed but actually stays dead, that would be the twist. Because they never stay dead anymore.
Yeah,
so if he actually
clones.
stays dead, that would be the twist.
Yeah.
The comics
No, that's
never has ever.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to do the Wolverine clone saga.
Yeah, well,
They'll kill a clone.
starting in September after the
no.
death of
They already
Wolverine,
did.
there's going to be the World Without Wolverine across the X-Men books.
Sounds like a Superman title.
So Okay, I guess they're gonna like this. It seems so pointless. I mean, they've been talking about this since he lost his powers.
Yeah.
So he's been powerless, quote unquote, for a while, despite he would die instantly from the adamantium poisoning if he didn't have his regenerative powers. So, but that aside, yeah, it's like, okay,
Yeah, that's been pretty weak.
you gotta kill Wolverine. I'm sure that'll last days. That'll last right up to when's X-Men?
May 29th.
No, when's the next one? When's isn't that 2016?
No.
Apocalypse. I think that's 2016.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be back just in time for that.
Yes, May 2016.
I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll be back before May 29th.
No,
Well, he dies in September, so that'd be some pretty fun time
that's-
travel there.
Maybe Vibe helped him get there.
Oh, maybe.
Or
maybe.
Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen to Wolverine and the X-Men when Wolverine's not there?
it'll be Kitty Pryde in the X-Men.
No, it'll be Quentin Quire in the X-Men. That will be a fucking book that I can
Dude,
stamp
that
out.
would
I
be
get
an
behind
awesome
that.
book.
I get behind that.
I wish they would do that.
Right.
By the way, Latour's been doing a great job.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that
I
book.
didn't see that
Yeah.
being as good as it has been, considering the shoes it had to fill. But it's very, very solid.
Yeah, well,
Love the
X-Men
coloring
pretty fun.
too. Silva's sick.
Okay, how about Bryce? How about this? This is maybe a little bit up your alley. Wolverine is not in this comic. You ready? It's Deadpool versus X-Force.
Oh my god, I saw that news.
90s style.
Dude, 90s style. I was so excited. The story happens right before his appearance in New Mutants 98.
Yep.
That is awesome. So I've been off the Deadpool bandwagon for a while. I used to get every single book that Deadpool got.
You're missing out
or
on
that
all
he
the
was in.
fucking incredible fucking Duggan and Hussein books, dude. They're
But dude,
so
you've been
fucking
telling me
good.
that for this run, but you have to keep in mind that like I got burned for like however 5 years of crap Deadpool,
But
and
it's
so I was like,
27
I'm done, and then it's like, no, now this one is good. It's
Okay.
like, ah!
27 issues deep. It's so fucking good, dude. That's like been one of my favorite books.
I read 2 issues.
It's
I
on
read
my top
I read
five
the 70s one
of
that
Marvel
you suggested,
reads.
and it was so good. It was
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
If
maybe
you
I
really
do want
like
to pick
that.
it up, and I was like, oh well, now I just have one awkward issue 13, and then I got issue 27. I got The Wedding, and that was a great book.
Get the one before it where he fights fucking Hitler with fucking Nick Fury back in the days.
All right.
Dude,
Maybe I got to check out this book
dude,
because
it's like time traveling Deadpool. He's fucking awesome. He hooks up with Cable and says, "Hey, Cable." I don't. You know what? I spoiled it all for you.
no, you
Fuck,
just
but
said
you know
one
what? It's
sentence.
gonna be
Did he
so
just say
good.
spoiled it?
I spoilered it. Yeah.
So anyway, I
Spoiler,
can't
did you?
wait. I love Deadpool. I just got burned on so much crap Deadpool. But since they've now, because they were coming out with like 7 Deadpool books a week, now that they're like back to normal, maybe it is time to get back on it. So yeah.
The question I have about this: are they going to do it in Liefeld style with everything being misproportioned?
So it's Pepe Larraz is his last name, I think.
Who's that?
The artist on this. I think his last name is Larraz. It's Pepe Larraz, and he's a great artist. He's not Liefeld.
Yes, you are correct. Yes.
Okay. He's not Liefeld good / bad. He's like Pepe Larraz is like actually good, but it is
extreme artwork, like
extreme. Yeah, I was trying to find a way of saying
heavy
it.
inking.
Can I break in here? Breaking news from 4 hours ago. Omar, I saw where you're talking about this interview on Newsarama with Dan Didio talking about April of next year.
Yeah, it was on CBR.
And to clarify, so he posted this thing about these books ending in March, quote unquote, accidentally, thinking it had already been announced. And April 2015 is the 30th anniversary of Crisis on Infinite Earths. So there's your rumor for a major Crisis style ending of the New 52 verse starting April 2015.
Well, Crisis is what got Dan to really work at DC, right? That's what he always says. He's all Crisis was the fucking shit that like
yeah,
really got me into it.
Sure. So there you go. Sorry, I didn't mean to take away from your.
No, that's a
Deadpool
big
versus
deal.
X-Force,
I mean, I love Crisis. Everybody loves Crisis. That's Reddit.
Yeah,
that got me into the DC universe.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Well, and we already had the. I mean, 25th anniversary of Crisis was Infinite Crisis. So
yeah,
that was 09. So yep.
Yeah, probably one of the best like one shot books ever made. It's fucking Jim Lee cover, fucking holding Ted Kord. Ted Kord is still dead.
Oh, the countdown. Yeah.
Countdown to Crisis.
So
that was actually the second.
How is it
print.
still dead? By
hold
the way?
on. We'll come back to this Deadpool versus X-Force thing in a second.
No, we
here.
don't have to.
Well, no, because I sometimes someone.
No, I'm serious. We don't have to.
Okay. Well, either way,
No, it looks exciting, and I can't wait for it. And I'm sure it'll be just mediocre / fine. Good.
So what if Marvel or what if DC does this? Since they've cut their titles way back, and there's still a bunch of titles they could cut. What if they launch 30 or 40 books as the regular DC universe come back, and then keep maybe a handful, maybe 12 books around as the new 52 Ultimate line of other continuity. Would you guys go for that? Does that sound? Would you? Because this is sort of what the new 52 pitch kind of originally was, sort of the Ultimate DC. But what if they made it the same? What if they just made it a line? And you had the traditional DC
I'd be down
books
for
come
that
back.
because it won't last a year for New 52 to stick around after that.
Yeah,
No,
what
it
did you
would.
say? 30 title? What?
No, if they launched 30 or 40 traditional DC titles
Okay.
and cut the new 52 line and keep it like an Ultimate imprint
you would
and
get-
keep 12 titles or so.
We get Batman New 52.
Okay.
You keep-
So you're saying they would
Batman
keep
regular.
the 40 to 50-ish books.
40 books normal back to
52.
pre-52.
Well-
And so you have Batman.
I'd be all for that.
You have Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Flash, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Titans,
Okay, so-
and maybe one or two more.
You know, I would just say from a business standpoint, they did a shit ton of money. Like, they put a shit ton of money into branding and working with different graphics and marketing companies and creating. They did a lot of internal work with Colin Bunn, doing like a lot of the character work, Jim Lee, obviously. But I think that there's going to be an event that's ever changing. It's not going to be labeled New 52 anymore, but we're going to probably have the same logos. I don't think it's going to go back to being the same shit. To your point about going back to different books, your insights I think are probably right, because then it would speak to, it'd be subtle, but it would speak to what the original like imprint and titles were that were classic back, say, in the 80s. But I don't think they're going to change shit. I like that Batman.
The problem is like with books like Batman and Green Lantern, there really was no change.
I was going to say,
They
for
kinda
most
just
of them,
rolled
there
over.
wasn't a change.
There's a
I mean,
huge change in the Batman family.
Me a little bit.
Yeah, don't give me that. That's my favorite part
I mean,
of Batman book,
like
so
the
I'm
Birds
not
of Prey
reading
book,
Batman.
yeah, and Nightwing, yeah, but
Batgirl?
Batgirl just came back. So, but it's like the main Batman title and the main Green Lantern title didn't really have any change.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't.
Some, but yeah, not much.
No, we'll get Oracle back. We'll get Nightwing back. Don't worry. He won't be fucking Grayson anymore. That's just like, I think that's some like trolling shit, because really that Kyle Higgins was Mr. Nightwing.
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah.
Mr. Nightwing, and he went and left DC. He left Nightwing title, which is like his bread and butter and shit. Like he just loved. He said, "I always just have to write name, do it for the rest of my life."
Yeah.
And then he's getting paid double. And they showed like how much he's getting paid on a different website. I forget where, compared to how much he's getting paid DC.
Yeah.
How Jump Ship 2. And he's doing a book that's all about like fucking espionage, covert ops shit.
Yeah, so
and he
based
has a
on
character that has fucking the same Nightwing color branded. So it's a total fucking troll.
That's the one based on his movie.
Yeah.
Well, so okay, so we'll have a lot more to say about this DC stuff as it goes through, because it's just conjecture and we have no idea. But I want
Maybe
to.
it's a multi.
Conjecture creates reality.
I know. Omar, Bryce, you guys got to spitball some ideas here back and forth for a second. Okay, I'm going to give the floor to you guys.
yeah. Hold on.
There was one other thing that was announced at C2E2's Marvel panel, and that was Axis. A, Avengers logo. X, X-Men logo. IS, Axis. Something big coming. This is the last panel, the last thing they showed. Give us some ideas.
Oh, well, it's obvious what it is. It's the X-Men and the Avengers teaming up to save the universe. Wow, I'm pretty bad at this spitballing thing. I think that's what it is. I think that out of the ashes of a VX, which was incredibly successful because it was pitting the pure nerd, I say that lovingly, conversation of who would win, blah, 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 blah. And then they did weak-ass shit like Magneto loses to Iron Man in a fight, and I think the Thing beats Namor in a fight. Like there's some like bullshit of those fights that went down. The only like sort of other spin that they could do on that is having them join forces, because comic books these days are not, I would say, for most cases, not very imaginative in terms of, oh my god, this this worked and sold incredibly well. Let's do some very minor tweaks to it and repackage it and rebrand it and resell it. So it'll be something exactly like,
Like Uncanny Avengers. I think Axis is probably an event, kind of like continuing where you're going. That is a book, Uncanny Avengers. A lot of people aren't reading it because they're confused by it.
Yeah.
But it's such a fucking incredible title that blends both worlds, but
Dude.
also kind of keeps them separate. And it goes beyond the Avengers versus X-Men, which, to Bryce's point, it is what everybody wants to see. Just like Civil War, all the heroes against heroes. And 10 years before that, with House of M, not 10 years, but House of M. And
it's getting there.
Actually,
Yeah.
probably was close.
House of M was 05, right?
So, yeah,
so
pretty
you're
Yeah,
getting
so
there.
kind of close. Okay, but for the most part, it's Avengers. For Marvel, it's Avengers and X-Men. So now bringing them together and doing some wordplay acts is having them be together against who? Of course, Magneto and Red Skull. You gotta pit the ultimate villains against the ultimate heroes.
So is this an Uncanny Avengers event?
Probably not, because I don't think, in my opinion, that Remender plays well with others. But
No, he
I
doesn't.
do have to say that Uncanny Avengers, that's a great call. I think that Uncanny Avengers is one of the top 5 books that Marvel's putting out right now, maybe top 3 books.
Yeah, I'd say top 3.
I'm trying to look around. I think that I'm not going to make that list right now, but top 3 books right now. But I do agree that it's so overlooked because it is very confusing. So yeah, a big crossover event where they join forces, and I would love it if they fought Red Skull and Magneto. I just assume that they will join forces. I don't know who they'll fight, but it'll be fucking incredible, and it'll be so incredible for sales for you that you should be on board already.
I was going to say AVX was the last time Marvel AVX, and then I'd say Uncanny Avengers. I mean, they'll have big success with Spidey 1 out this week and a few others, but AVX really was the last big, huge selling event for Marvel. The couple they've had since haven't quite hit those numbers. So,
I have an idea for what it is.
yeah.
So it's a different time. So it's an alternate timeline where Red Skull is over the Avengers and Magneto is over the X-Men, and Hitler won and all that stuff. Oh yeah.
I mean, they've done so much with
the
Age of
Axis
Ultron.
and the
And,
Yeah,
Third
that
Reich.
could be-
That's a pretty educated. From becoming an education guy.
I did not expect that coming from you.
thing, brother and brother.
Yeah.
So hey, I'm trying to give a little bit of.
Is
Yeah.
the eye the
No, that's-
Inhuman's
that's-
eye? And as for Spider-Man?
When is this event coming out
That would
again?
have been too cool.
fall 2014. So we'll have
They'll probably bring Wolverine back. By then.
we'll he dies in September, and they'll be back in the fall, which is in September.
No, he
Yeah.
dies. He dies. He dies in this universe, but he comes back in the other.
because he's always back in history.
Right.
Anyway, that's a great call. So yes, because there's something. Okay, I didn't think about
Axis, Third Reich. Yeah, dude, that's perfect if it goes back in history and time. But I don't know. I mean, they've played with time so much.
Well, I mean,
know.
Deadpool went back to kill Hitler or whatever, but
Dude,
maybe,
but that was entertaining.
maybe he actually
that.
failed and
Don't
Hitler
spoil it
succeeded.
for me. I just pulled it off the rack.
It was so good. And not only in that book, I'm sorry, going back to Deadpool number 25 and 26. Not only is the whole Deadpool fighting Hitler with Cable in the background, but just his side bullshit fighting Crossbones. Dude, it's just like 2 fucking assassins, 2 mercs just going at it. It's just incredible. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
I can't wait.
Doug and Hussein, I love you guys. Makes you want to be a comedian.
All right.
So before we move on to because we'll do Arrow at the end, so we talk Arrow briefly. Before we turn to the movie stuff though and TV stuff, pretty actually one of those rare instances where the real big news in comics has nothing to do with the comics itself, but something outside of it, and that is comiXology. For all of our listeners that read digital comics, I know a lot of you
Support us by buying through us. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of you get them through our digital store. Well, now you have even more reason to do so. comiXology, having now been bought by Amazon, has shifted their purchasing methods to be in line with Amazon, and that is to give Apple $0. So as of right now, on the comiXology app, you can no longer purchase comics through it. The individual companies still have their own apps, and those will be changed or left alone as needed. But as of currently, if you're using the comiXology app, you have to download their new app. You can still read books on the old app. You can sync your account to this new app, and you can read all your books on there. But if you want to purchase anything, you can no longer an in-app purchase, as they say. You now have to go on their website, buy through there, and then your app is synced to your account through comiXology, which, if you buy through us, you're basically doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So this has caused some pretty major problems for comiXology. They launched this new app with completely no warning. They just did it on Saturday morning. Their account was closed. People couldn't get into their stuff. And this new thing showed up. So, if you subscribe to Comics or comiXology, if you went through their website and subscribe that way, you'll still get your stuff as normal. But you have to get this new app. You have to change everything. If all you do is go on the app and buy, you can't do that anymore. So this is some pretty big news. And I know a lot of people that use comiXology, and this is yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird that they would cut out the buying on the app, because I mean, if you think about it, digital people, a lot of people who read comics digitally, I think, are people that are on the go, so they're most likely going to be purchasing on the go via their tablet or their phone, not necessarily their laptop or any of that stuff. So it's like, I mean, these are people like they're getting on planes or getting on trains or like, just they're like, oh, I want to read something, boom, I buy it, it's done.
Again, the comiXology site has been shifted slightly to better work on tablets. So and now that includes our site as well.
Yeah.
So if you go to digital.comicsconspiracy.biz, you can now go get your stuff on there on your tablets. You make a little save on Safari for the link, and boom, you can pop right into the site and buy that way, and read on the app or read on the web store. You can read wherever.
Nice product placement, bro.
Oh, thank you.
That was like the most fucking totally little fucking SEO.
Ching.
Yeah,
a little.
He got that off of somebody who showed the instructions on Tumblr.
Yeah, exactly. But this is pretty huge because, again, people are so used to those in-app purchases. Now, what this does is this saves comiXology and ultimately Amazon 30%, because that's what Apple gets. Apple gets 30% of the cut, roughly. So Apple, if you have the Kindle app on your iPad, you can read all your Kindle books on the iPad. You just can't purchase through there. You have to go on Amazon's website or use a Kindle and purchase that way. So this is in line with everything Amazon has done up to this point. It just there would have been. If they had some notice, maybe
if there was a little bit of an announcement, because I mean, you can technically still buy them on your tablet and stuff if you do that. If you go to you bookmark it as like a shortcut on your phone or your tablet, and you click on it and you just go to the website like you're looking at a normal thing, But the website does work a lot better on mobile devices now than it used to.
Better than it did, yeah. But it's still, obviously the app is the preferred method for most people, and now it's gone. So, for me, this is a kind of a, for the comic stores that hated comiXology, this definitely helps them a little bit. For me, it's just a better push people to our digital store. So since you have to go on the website anyway, we can basically get some of that cut. And as far as I know, that's not going to change anytime soon. They've been upfront and said we have no plans to discount or stop the retail incentives.
This is just comiXology's push to.
They could change it next week. We have no idea.
To not paying Apple.
I have a question, a retail question.
Sure.
I thought Ultimates was going away. How come there's an Ultimate FF number 1 right there?
They just relaunched them all.
All new Ultimates.
All new hipster Ultimates.
Oh, God.
And they're living in like a garage or something.
It's now all new Spider-Man in the Ultimates.
They all make craft beer in the garage?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
They have ironic mustaches.
They all microbrew now. No, like the cover for like number 2, I think, is like a bunch of them standing against like a brick wall wearing like T-shirts and tight jeans and everything.
Storm Black in that one?
Yeah, she's on it. Yeah.
Ultimate. No, the what's his face? Human Torch. Is he black in this one?
Oh
no, they got Falcon in there, and I think Ultimate FF stands for Ultimate like Fantastic farmers, because they're all homesteaders, making vegetables and organic plants in their homes in Oakland.
Hey, they're the fermenting fathers, Dan.
Oh, there you go, fermenting fathers. That's a good one.
That is pretty good. So, can I just say that you guys are being idiots? I think that this is a hugely bad idea for comiXology. I think that they will lose at least 25% of their sales by requiring people to go through a website and not being able to do impulse buys.
Right.
I think they'll lose a lot of impulse buys.
And
they do have
probably 99% of their impulse buys. But what I'm saying is that if you lose 25% of your business from impulse buys and you save 30% or save 30% not going to Apple, it's kind of like, look, you disrupted your entire market. Overall, you probably lost more than the 5% delta right there. So I understand Amazon in terms of the Google, Amazon, Apple threesome war that they have going on, that they're trying to stick it to, not trying to stick it to Apple, but like it's a nice to have, that they're able to cut Apple out of getting that extra 30%, which is incredible amount for doing pretty much nothing other than having the iPads in existence. But I think that you are crazy to think that this extra step that people have to go through will be remotely as effective in terms of getting people to buy it. But I would love to see some studies done on how many people buy books, just like, what the fuck? Like every app that I bought, and I'm not, maybe, their sample segment or not the best for this argument against my case, but apps that I buy, they are, almost all of them are impulse buys. Oh, this actually looks legit. Let me get this app. And I would imagine that if I was doing comiXology, that it would be sort of a similar thing. I want to read this. I want to read it right now.
Here's my assumption of what their thought process is on that. Have you ever tried to use Amazon on a phone? It sucks, right?
The main website or the app?
Buying stuff through Amazon through an app sucks.
Only if you're on an Apple phone. If you're on a Droid, you're okay.
It sucks on my Droid too. No, the app sucks.
It's not the best, but it's not the
great.
worst.
It's not great. I think Amazon has data that says 80% of our sales, 90% of our sales come from PC users, maybe tablet users as well, but not phone, right? Not app purchases, or if they are, it's through stuff that's easily accessible on a website. Right. I would assume
through Amazon.com.
Just in general. I mean, I would assume.
I'm just saying, not comiXology.
Right. Well, Amazon itself.
No, I mean, I'll put stuff in my cart on my mobile phone, and then I'll go on the PC and buy it.
Exactly.
Because the problem with their app, at the end when you go to purchase, like it doesn't work if you have gift card balances. It's it's really crappy. Just on Amazon, it's like, here's the page for this, here's the page for this. You'd think it'd be a simple transition. No, you can't even use your gift card balance. And
that's what
all
I'm
this
saying.
Random shit.
I'm assuming Amazon has data that says most of their sales come through that way, pushing comiXology through their own website. The sales will come that way. In my mind, I believe they will be saving or making a whole lot more money on that 30% long term than the initial few weeks it pisses people off in order to get people to change. Now, you will lose some casual buyers, but the app still allows the access to like some sort of cart, and they have these things there. It's just you have to go about it like in a 2 or 3 step process instead of the one step, just purchasing an app. So there are better reasons and there are worse reasons, but I'm assuming Amazon long term is saying, hey, that 30% is going to be way more money for us in the long term.
But why can't Amazon have it be a one step? What I'm saying is that they're doing it to stick it to Apple, but that's not the number one reason. The number one reason is because they want to be able to lock it down, outside of Apple. But I think that adding that step is going to be huge, and this is probably more for the finance crew or for a separate study, but. Dude, I have to imagine such a high percentage are impulse buys. Like, if I have to go and I see that number in my cart, clicking up every single one comic that I buy, clicking up by $3 or $4, dude, that's crazy. As opposed to just the instant pulse buy.
Yeah, 99 cents here, 99 cents there. Yeah, right. No, I think it's a risk reward that they see long term is going to work out for them. So maybe
they saw that Netflix, survived changing over their thing to separating the digital and the DVDs,
but it didn't. They didn't change it. That's the point.
No, they cut. They didn't. It was no longer you paid X amount and you got both. It was they separated them and now you have.
No, that's
one
a different. That doesn't parallel
that
because it's the same service.
Yeah. No, for this, it's just I think this is I think it's a bit much ado about nothing. I think people will be upset for a week, and then if you were using it, I don't think you're going to stop using it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm saying, 25% versus 30%. Over the long run, I don't think that it'll actually make that much of a dent, in my opinion. I think it's just, let's get this the fuck away from Apple.
Right. And again, Amazon and Apple are not always... I know they've had issues with the pricing. Amazon already runs on such a tight profit structure as it is. Then giving 30% to Apple is probably undoable. They cannot survive on that if they get a lot of purchases in app. So, and as far as I know, you can't have a link in an app that then links out to a purchase and then directs you back to the app. All in-app purchases Apple gets their cut from. So you can't I have an app and it opens a page and then you close the page and you come back to the app. It's like you have to do it one way or another. Right. And at first I thought it was the app then links out to the site and then the site then links you back to the app. But I'm like, I don't think Apple allows that. But it's not. It's you have to completely go through the website now. The app is just basically a reader.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, exactly.
We'll see long term.
So I think that it was just all anti-Apple from Amazon and the Google, Amazon, Apple trifecta. I think that was their move, and I think it was a good move for them.
No, what they
and
need
Apple
to
should have
do-
bought them, by the way.
What they need to do is they need to still allow you to browse, but wish list shit. Because I do that shit on my mobile all the time.
Well, that's why I'm wondering if this cart aspect allows. I haven't messed around with the new app because I don't use it. So, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, maybe it allows you to build up the stuff that you want, and then you just have to go online to finalize your purchase.
I don't think you could do that though. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Apple allows that.
I heard stories from some people in Apple. Nobody that I know around here. That comiXology was blue-balled, and then Amazon picked it up. So comiXology has been waiting to be bought out.
Oh, yeah.
You read some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, dude, I mean, no fucking shit. You get courted by Apple at all, and you get all hyphy, and then
it has been the number one app through iTunes forever. I mean, since basically when it came out, it's always been like their number one app. So paid app,
I mean, it makes sense that it goes to Amazon.
Purchases. Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, unless Apple buy it itself. So
right.
All right, we got a couple TV things to talk about here. One's I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this here. So you guys
all right, Game of Thrones. I can't wait to talk.
No,
Game of Thrones.
No Game of Thrones. No Game of Thrones.
What?
We're going to talk about comic book men for a second here.
Oh,
by the way, two things. First of all, we could if we attached the appropriate spoiler alert to
I
it.
already apologized. Dead issue.
Second of all, comic book man, we talked about this last week, man.
No, it's new.
I got an email from someone who was on Comic Book Men, and he wants to talk about his experience there.
Proceed.
Yeah. So this is from. So you guys can kick back for a second. It's from Brandon. It's a long email, but I'm going to read it because it's a good email.
Hey, Brandon.
He says, when I heard the discussion about Comic Book Men on last week's podcast, I thought I should write in and give you guys details on the show. I'm assuming this is all good to read. He didn't say anything about not being able to read it on the air, so I'm going to read this on the air.
You could be getting a call from the Fat Man on Batman.
Yeah, maybe. I went through the casting process for this past season and ended up in episode 4 in a featured scene and in episode 8 in the crowd at the Baltimore Comic-Con. The casting process started by filling out an application online. Then I got a call back from the show saying they were interested in the book I was selling. It was the Marvel Heroes book that was made after 9/11 with all proceeds going to the victims' families. I had a second print of the book, which was signed by 13 of the 25 creators that worked on it. There were a ton of hoops to jump through to get on the show. The first thing I had to do was make a YouTube video about myself and why I wanted to be on the show. Then a second video talking about the book I was selling and why I was donating the money to a 9/11 charity. Both videos had to be exactly 1 minute long. The charity I donated to was called the Feel Good Foundation, and I encourage everyone to check it out. After they liked my videos, I did a series of phone interviews with casting directors and producers of the show. Then the final one was with someone at AMC. Once I passed those, I was booked to film my episode in July of last year. I had to drive myself to the store in New Jersey, which was 4 hours away, and I had to pay for my own hotel. I received no money for being on the show other than the $150 I got for selling the book. No one-lines are scripted. It was up to me and the other guys to come up with a way to describe the book and make the transaction. Even shooting the show is not a guarantee of your segment airing. The folks that filmed before me were trying to sell a Shakespeare costume worn by Adam West, and it was never televised. Despite all the hoops and cost of doing the show, I still think it was a worthy endeavor. I can't speak for everyone, but all my interactions with the crew were both great on and off camera. When I saw them again at Baltimore Comic-Con in September last year, they all remembered me and actually took a minute to catch up with me. This is also where I found out that the book I sold was resold the next week. It was purchased by the producers of the show and is now framed and hanging in the AMC production offices. I was told it's the only item that has been on the show that was kept as a memento, which I feel was a great compliment. And then
I actually saw this is one of the only episodes I've actually seen. So I saw this
Sure,
episode.
Brock. That happens when I'm explaining porno to my wife.
You say shirt Brock?
So this...
No, this is the only episode I've ever seen.
So this is cool.
Yeah.
And this is awesome that Brandon did this. This is super great. But it goes to what I was saying. I don't care if it was Kevin Smith's comic buying show, right?
So is he on the show? I've never seen a single episode.
Yeah. I mean, he's rarely in the shop.
No, he comes up whenever they do
a podcast.
the
like this.
Fat Man on Batman.
No, they literally record a podcast just like this, and what they do is he asks about the week, and they cut the footage in as they kind of narrate,
Yeah.
which is
That's
really smart because
Yeah,
they
it is
can
smart.
And
they
they
can
bring
fill
up-
in the
they bring it-
fillers.
yeah, they
It's
bring
very
up, like-
Seinfeld-y. Like Seinfeld opens, and he talks about
yeah, they
some
bring
topic, and then they fucking do a topic on the whole Seinfeld fucking
They,
show.
they add facts and little,
Yeah.
sound bites and stuff.
But this is what I was saying is that the show, like all reality shows, is completely fake. It's completely.
It's
you have-
100% bullshit. Like, okay, you go to fucking a shop,
Do they say it's a reality show though?
like whatever. I mean,
I don't think
Well,
they do.
No, but even if they don't, they present it
When
as
people-
like this is what it's like.
when people walk in, they're like, "Oh, hello, can I help you?" It's like, yes, you can help me because I'm going to be on this show. We've rehearsed this,
dude,
So-
so you go to Midtown, fucking 11 o'clock at night. You have fucking 40 people. I'm talking about the one that's closer to Times Square. You go to you have like 40 people on 3 different floors, just fucking hanging out and talking and checking out books, buying product and everything. And there's none of that kind of interaction. We all know that. It's just bullshit. And like the fact that they put out a show like this is like so Brady Bunch. And I say Brady Bunch because it's like so fucking outdated and not reflective of the culture.
But,
This is
but
not.
it is. But it's a reality show. The thing is, this is not for us. This
it's
is for the people watching.
It's for the people that didn't change the channel, didn't get up, and are still watching AMC after Walking
They're
Dead.
going to be watching
Okay,
Swamp
but
People.
the
next,
fact
right?
that they try to sell it as this is day in the life in a comic book shop, that's just fucking insulting.
Yeah.
Because it's the same shit. The same reason why a lot of people don't like that one show. I forget the name of it. Sheldon guy is in it.
Big Bang Theory.
Blazinga. Yeah, Blazinga. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, it's so funny because fucking laugh at nerds. Dude, you look around the room, whatever room you're in, your office, your fucking classroom, walking down the street, dude, everyone's a fucking nerd. Whether it's a sports nerd, whether it's a food nerd, whether it's it's just like people, especially being an information
Shit, I gotta
age.
bring nerd back, man.
No, seriously, dude. Like, it's just like it's kind of disgusting. It makes me pissed off.
Well, and that's my issue with the show. Again, it does not, as all reality shows are, not actually indicative of the quote-unquote reality they are dealing with. So, like, what Brandon did was great.
Yeah,
and
he
again,
did an
I
awesome
have
thing.
no problem with the concept of the show. I have concept with how it's presented to the average person, that this is somehow what a comic store is about and like, and it's not. So that, again, that is my sole problem with the show. The people on there, some of it's funny. I like Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith is all right.
I know people that have gone to the shops. They're like, yeah, it's a comic shop. When you're there, I know people that have gone to both the shop in LA and in Red Bank, and people have said, yeah, you just walk in, it's a comic shop. It's not this made up fantasy reality show version. That's actually the shop's not like that, but they have to have it like that on the show because that's
You won't have a show.
the show,
otherwise. Yeah.
right? If you came in here, I made this joke, but I made this joke before, but it's totally serious. A actual show about a comic shop would be a bunch of people sitting around talking about random stuff. You couldn't get a word in edgewise. You couldn't edit it properly. I'd be on hold the diamond complaining because we lost half our books. There'd be
I'd be in the back sorting books, going, "I'm gonna die back here."
it's
You know what? That
crazy-
sounds like Clerks.
it's a
that sounds
crazy-
fucking cool and cutting edge.
Some crazy homeless guy outside is
Yeah.
like stacking rocks, right? This is what life is like here on a weekly basis.
That's me,
okay?
Ryan. Fuck you.
Oh Jesus! Okay.
It sounds like a lot of cool movies that were made in the 90s that are cult films now, and people ended up fucking like that was left an imprint, a signature on them, and they still go back and watch that shit.
It's the Pawn Stars mentality. It's what can we put on this show that
Right.
people are going to
Well,
watch.
Pawn
and be
Stars is all
interested-
fake too.
Well, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
what's going to be interesting. Nobody's going to give a rat's ass if I come in and sell
It's going to be
some
a
random
bunch of
thing. It's like interesting stuff.
It's going to be people just coming and selling me copies of Spawn #1, and I'm going to tell them it's worthless and not buy it. And they don't want. That's not good television. That's your crap's not worth anything. And no one wants that. So, but it's awesome that Brandon got to do this. That's super cool.
Well, no,
good job, Brandon.
His case is a rare case where it's like it's actually cool because he didn't go in wanting to make money for himself. He went in
Right.
trying to sell something to, make money for a charity. You know what I mean? And it was something that he did because he wanted, to give back. So
Right,
that
right.
was what was amazing.
That sounds like a lot of work, Brandon. Good job.
No, but it's cool
I wouldn't
that-
have made a YouTube. I wouldn't
wouldn't
have
have
made
done it
two
either.
YouTube videos.
fuck no, I wouldn't
and
have done
gone through interviews for phone screenings. I would have been like, "Look, time is money, friend," as my favorite goblins say.
The most I've ever done was I fucking slept overnight for Amazing Race with my homeboy Trey.
Oh, wow.
We met Trey, and we were going to be on.
I would
that
have watched
show.
that. That would have been awesome.
And fucking, we were
would've
so
lost.
exhausted by the
They
time
would've
we
been
had
so
our
drunk.
we were supposed to have 1 minute. We had a fucking 20-second interview. I was
Jeez.
like, over. Forget it.
Well, did they tell you why you weren't chosen?
Nah, man, we were one in 1,000 people that were there from all over the world, dude. It was like American Idol.
You guys would have been.
bullshit.
You and Trey. You guys would.
I think it would have been funny.
I would've been
Yeah, you know
entertaining.
Trey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I personally I mean, it's cool that fans can get involved with the show. It's kind of horrible in my mind that they don't get paid.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but
that is ridiculous.
But to me, in that show, that's actually the most boring part of the show. I tend to, if I do watch it, tend to skip through the sales, and then I'll watch the funny bits, and then if a sale happens, I kind of skip through it again. Because last time they had like them going to like some dress up thing in the park, not LARPing, but a
Like
carnival
Ren Fair or something.
Yeah, with Muse, and I was like, I'll watch that. That's funny.
See,
But-
the part I like of the show, of the episodes I've seen, is like their Fat Man and Batman podcast.
Oh,
It's
the
when they're
recording.
recording the
Yeah, yeah.
podcast and just talking about comics. The Fat Man on Batman podcast is excellent.
Yes.
He does such a good. Well, he has great guests on the show that they then have great interactions
Yes.
with on the show. Not all Kevin Smith. I mean, it's mostly the guests, but he brings them there and he gets them to talk about these topics. So it is he does great work. And I would love to see, like, remember when they used to do the old Howard Stern show when they would just film it, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that and just having them talk about comic stuff. To me, that's way more interesting and way more informative to casual people about what the things are.
Maybe that was the original plan. Maybe they're just gonna go to the fucking 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock segment, 3 o'clock segment, same as Batman.
I wonder
jeez.
What's that show?
Beware the Batman?
Yeah, Where the Batman. They're gonna both be on at the same time. You could switch between AMC and Cartoon Network.
Kevin Smith talking about comics.
Yeah, and then you
I-
can
I
switch and
wanna
watch your Batman animated.
Wasn't there an article lately that AMC is making more deals with Kevin now? He might get his late night show. Who knows,
Yeah,
right?
that'd be
It's
cool if he did.
him versus the Nerdist.
Yeah,
What you just said about the Howard Stern, I'm like, dude, we should totally do like a comic book morning show. Get people
geez.
on.
There's barely enough to talk about
won't
once
be
a week. I'll be asleep.
I'm a night owl.
No, there you actually talk about like comic books, like read them and talk about things.
Well, I'm definitely not doing that.
I
Are
know.
you kidding me? Jesus.
Okay, are we talking about Game of Thrones now?
No.
We're gonna talk about the Night King.
No.
We're gonna talk about the White Walkers.
Dude, by the way, we can talk about it if we give an appropriate spoiler alert. That was all I was saying 2 weeks ago.
Okay. No.
Okay.
So
no.
what?
Anyway, Game of Thrones has been awesome. But you know what else has been awesome? Are all these Marvel books. Look, Thor has continued its legacy of awesomeness. Brian Michael Bendis has not let anyone down with...
love how he's stealing
I think it's
airtime.
because you haven't let him do his top X books.
Yeah,
for,
what
like,
happened
a
to
year.
your quarterly top 7 X-Men books of the month? No.
Dude, at the time,
No,
I
there's
thought
two-
I thought monthly was way too frequent than I could commit to, and that yearly was too long, and bi-yearly was also too long. But like quarterly, I could do. But yeah, quarterly, I'll put together. I just haven't put together a list recently.
Well, we
although
got-
I could
It's
probably
supposed
do
to be 7, but it always ends up being like 13.
We got-
'cause you go these times.
No, there's only 13, and I gave you the top 7. Don't be
have-
a jackass.
We have one more big comic book thing to talk about, and then we have one more comic book TV show thing to talk about, and then we're done because we're not doing our pick of the month because extenuating circumstances. We didn't have a chance to read it, so
No
we're
problem.
gonna
Keep
push
going.
it back to next week. But actual big news. Although I feel like I've said this 9 times, but I guess officially the Justice League movie is happening. Official. I just know Liquid on the forums is going to be like, God damn Justice League movie. Stop talking about this. Zack Snyder has officially been tapped to direct. Official.
I love how you use the words official and tapped to.
Well, he has been officially is assigned to be the
tapped.
director. Right.
No, tapped. Tapped is
doesn't
even
mean
less than assigned.
Yeah.
Assigned isn't even like in contract.
And
They're doing this to fucking hype up
This was
Superman
on-
versus
yes.
Batman.
well,
Yeah.
hold on.
Look through the fucking smoke and mirrors,
Hold
bro.
on.
Dude,
So
you're
Wall Street
killing me.
I'm just telling you what was reported. Wall Street Journal
Wall Street Journal, man, this is news.
exclusively, officially from DC and Warner Brothers has announced the Justice League movie that we all knew was happening, but now it's official and it's not what's his face directing. Like a lot of people thought it was going to be Batman. A lot of people thought it was going to be what's his face.
Yeah.
Ben
Affleck.
Ben Affleck, but it is Zack Snyder doing it.
Including you were one of those people, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
sure.
Just wanted to, you
The
were wrong about that too.
The Hollywood Reporter, one of the reporters there, has also said, quote unquote, officially, but this has not been reported elsewhere, so I'm not sure where this info comes from, that it is being filmed back to back with Man of Steel and going to be like some sort of like how they've done, like Lord of the Rings and stuff. So if 2016 is Man of Steel, then 2017 is Justice League. So we'll obviously announcement at Comic-Con sounds likely. And we'll probably see the costumes and everything because from what I understand, they begin filming on Thursday, May 1st. But that wasn't it. They've also said more items are in the pre-production work for DC, along with Constantine and Gotham and iZombie and Flash and Booster Gold.
Ooh.
And the Wonder Woman movie is, if I quote the worldwide marketing president of Warner Brothers, Sue Kroll, the world is ready for a Wonder Woman movie. So all of these things. We also have Shazam movie, Metal Men movie, which I'm not sure on those two, but okay.
By the way, for everybody listening,
100 bullets.
These were also listed as like in development.
Right. These
Like
are-
4 years ago.
And
but
it
this
was
is
like
4 years ago.
So when you hear
But-
Higgins say these names, do not get excited because I can imagine somebody listening to this and being like, "Oh, Ryan Higgins said that this movie's coming out."
But-
yeah, this is all BS.
But this is once again-
90% of them will not come out.
sure, if you don't know, 100 bullets
But
back on.
neither do you know, and
Updated.
the track record is more on my side than yours.
Like I said, we should be 3 Flash movies deep by now, okay? But we're not. So who knows what the hell's going to go on here? 100 Bullets, which previously been rumored as being made into a TV show, back on schedule, and Fables, which had been pitched as a TV show a few years ago, apparently as a movie now. So check on that. I don't know what that's going to be.
That doesn't seem to work unless there's multiple movies.
Yeah, sure. I told you a couple Fables movies. So, yes. Oh, and Cyborg's going to be in Man of Steel, too, apparently. So I don't know what's up with that.
Out of all of that,
Well, they need to have a black person in there
out of all of that,
because otherwise they're racist.
But
all I
this
heard was
hashtag Don Sterling.
Zack Snyder's doing Justice League. I'm like, you mean the guy that did Man of Steel, and we haven't even seen the second movie? I don't care.
Yeah, he's doing all 3
Yeah.
because it's all
It's-
a thing. It's all a trilogy.
You know what I love? You know what I love?
Is it all a thing, though? I mean,
Yeah.
he did one movie, and so it makes sense for him to do the next two.
Well, two-
when
Man-
the first one was not good.
Man of Steel 2 and Justice League will. I mean, we've all been. A lot of people have assumed this is sort of the path they were going to take into Justice League. And so doing them back-to-back, having them basically be parts 1 and part 2 is perfect. If they're going to be putting Batman and Wonder Woman and now Cyborg and rumored other characters in the Man of Steel 2, maybe, you introduce them
3
slightly and then throw them into Justice League.
Look,
You're totally right.
Guys, hey, I mean, let's be real here. I mean, Ryan, the fact is we don't have any DC movies out. If we did, we'd probably see all these advertisements in the end credits.
No, that's right.
But we
So-
have a lot of Marvel movies out, and for those of you that are interested in movies, comic book movies that are done well, we can watch Spider-Man in next week.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
And it's going to be Sinister Six.
Well, hold on. So we've had Iron Man 1, 2, 3, Cap 1 and 2, Thor 1 and 2.
9 films, yes.
Avengers and
include Incredible
Hulk, Guardians this year, so that's 10 through this year. And then I believe they said 3 to 4 a year past this, so we'll have we
Ant-Man.
have 3 next year. So that's 10 through 2014,
Ultron.
15, 16,
and then the next Captain America.
17. So that's 9. So you're talking 18.
Thor 3 will come out before that.
Right. So you're talking 18 or 19 movies by the time DC has 3, maybe 4 if they count Green Lantern, if they're actually going to keep
They're not going to count Green
No,
Lantern. No one
dude.
wants to count Green Lantern. Jeff Johns, his career in the movie business has pretty much been just totally chastised because of that fucking his connection to the film, which sucks because he does make good TV shows. He makes horrible fucking movies because it wasn't him making the movie. They should have gave him the reins.
Right.
He's had experiences with fucking doing film. I mean, fucking stupid shit.
Well, he was brought in as creative development, and he probably said, "Hey, you should," and they were like, "Yeah, no."
Well, there was like 9 writing teams on that movie. But so right, if we've talked about this at length so many times in the past, but actually getting a official announcement is the first for Justice League. So hey, if it takes to 2025 till we're getting like our 7th Flash sequel or Green Lantern, 10 or whatever, fine. But if they're finally working on it, thank God. But what is taking so long?
Dude, wait, if
Marvel
I heard
is just crushing it.
Well,
Yes,
and
they are.
Marvel's. I read an article. It's like, and it's true. It's Marvel's taking what they want in for each film and applying a director that can do that kind of style to it. They wanted like an espionage kind of thing for Winter Soldier, so they got a director that could do that. They wanted something a little more fun-hearted, so they got a director for
a great
this.
point.
It's like you're letting instead of going, oh, let's get Zack Snyder, this big name, to do this movie.
Yeah, dude.
It's not. It doesn't push it. Like Zack Snyder on Justice League, whoop-de-doo. I didn't like Man of Steel. I don't know if I'm going to like Man of Steel 2. Now he's tied to another third movie. Great. My expectations of DC movies have now dropped even further.
So Zack Snyder is 100% of the directors behind DC's movies.
Yeah,
That makes no sense. And by the way, did I hear you correct when you said we might be seeing the 7th Flash sequel in
I'm joking.
2027?
If DC is finally going to ramp up their production of movies the way Marvel has, awesome. But I don't believe it's going to happen.
Some real news that you should have spoke on that we're going to see as soon as next week is the fact that DC Animated are creating their own continuity with all of their animated films, which you kind of predicted.
Well,
but they're not doing it just post New 52. They're going to make connections between Son of Batman and Red Sun and Arkham, Attack on Arkham, or whatever the fuck that name is.
Assault on Arkham.
So Assault on Arkham. So like they're creating continuity between their Batman animated, their Batman Superman animated films,
Right.
which is awesome, and I love
Right.
that because you know what, they do that really, really well.
That's the funny thing. It's like it's DC has like the animated locked down.
They got it locked,
and Marvel's is just blah. But
Yeah,
Marvel
shit.
has the movies locked down where DC is blah. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, and then right now the DC comics are kind of blah, and Marvel's got it on lock. So it's kind of sad. I want DC to be back, but again, it's tied to creators. It's tied to people not just doing all the fucking co-writing and scripting for fucking Arrow. And that's what I get pissed off about. Like Arrow, yeah, sure, it's entertaining. I'm one of the biggest Deathstroke fans I know, and just to see Jason dressed up as Deathstroke, that's not fucking exciting to me. That's not cool. I'd rather have fucking Jeff Johns fucking actually writing a comic book.
Right. You know who hasn't dropped their number of books that they're writing per week or per month is Bendis. I mean, I hate to take it back. Do I hate? I don't really hate. I love them both. Bendis is still pumping out 4 or 5 books a month.
The difference
Johns
there
is down to.
What?
I mean, what is he doing? Is he doing 1.5 books a month?
Forever evil, always late.
Well, hold on. No,
Forever late?
Here's the difference. Brian Michael Bendis is a staff writer for Marvel and occasionally a consultant on the movies. Jeff Johns is...
What do you mean occasionally? He is a consultant on all of the movies that have come out.
He's involved, but not... Jeff Johns is chief...
No, it's Jeff Loeb.
Jeff Johns is chief creative officer.
Jeff Loeb is the president.
Jeff Loeb is the
of
main-
TV and...
Jeff
Yeah,
Loeb is
but I'm
Jeff
saying
Johns.
that Bendis is a consultant on all of them.
But Jeff Johns' official title is chief creative officer of DC Entertainment, and he freelances comics occasionally. It's
Dude,
a
that
difference.
is bullshit.
They have
There has been one movie. How much time could
No,
you...
not movies. TV shows, video games,
We
animated
got a lot of
series.
good toys and video games from him.
That's
I
all
appreciate
Johns.
it. Yeah.
That's
Well,
all
that's
Johns.
my fault for not
Like
collecting the toys and video
all the
games.
Batman,
Yeah,
all the
DC
Batman games, all the animateds, all the
The toys, dude. DC,
Yeah.
the fucking DC
And-
Direct toys are
and-
incredible.
Yeah, and I just mentioned 15.
Statues.
All right. Well, okay, that's my bad then. I don't collect those. I don't know.
And we are coming up on 15 properties from DC being turned into either TV or movies in some form.
About fucking time. How about that?
Right, across Vertigo and other stuff. Oh, I forgot Preacher on that list too. So
Yeah.
Wait, across TVs or movies, did you
Yeah.
count the 20 that you just named?
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah. Let's fucking get
there's-
it. Let's get that fast tracked.
it's
Come on.
just. They've started this in 2009, and we're just getting word of some of them, meaning we've still got years before half this stuff even... Maybe.
Yeah, 2020,
even-
like you said, 2025, which sucks.
I mean, they talked about Arrow or Flash coming out, or being in Arrow and then being attached to it. But then they kind of quickly were like, "Well, no, we can. This is a great way for us to segue into a Flash series," and they kind of fast tracked Flash.
Yeah, and that's
out of
good.
Arrow, which is good. Right? And it's Fox got the thing to do Gotham, and it was like Batman.
They don't dick around with the TV shows. It's
No.
just the movies. It's just it has to be that dollar bill. They have to see that $200 million budget, and they freeze. Marvel's like 160 for Cap, done. Boom, biggest April movie of all time, and that's what they
incredible.
get. They just do it,
And it wasn't even about Captain America.
they just don't even dick around.
And it wasn't even really
It was
about the
Black.
Winter Soldier.
It was Winter Soldier and Black Widow.
Yeah,
Like, it was like
and Nick Fury, and Cap was there.
Nick Fury.
Cap threw a shield a few times. So
yeah.
Wait, what do you mean they don't have any problem greenlighting TV shows? I'm thinking of one TV show with the rest in production, which I'm sure will come out. But like, how many do we know are going to come out other than Gotham? And we've seen some awesome, admittedly, pictures of the Constantine dude. How many are actually like?
Wait, before that answer, I wanted to bring up another point with C2E2 is they also announced that all the Netflix movies are going to be just like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're going to connect to the cinematic universe.
Oh yeah. So Daredevil's going to be all connected. Yeah.
I like the cinematic universe, not the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know.
No, I want to laugh at that.
Yeah, I don't know what to that.
Well,
Think
Netflix,
about that.
that's where Marvel could finally be like, hey, look, we got the TV that could stand up to DC, right? So we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean,
they gotta fix that.
Shield does better than Arrow, but Arrow is way better received than Shield. So, I guess numbers are all
S.H.I.E.L.D.
that
is
matters.
better than Arrow?
It's on ABC. It's on ABC at 8 p.m.
It has
Yeah.
more people watching it because it's on ABC because it's
Yeah.
on a it's on
It's
a time
palatable,
slot
too.
where
Arrow,
more people
like,
are just
it's
going to
kind of risque.
And it's Marvel movie related.
Yeah.
So
But the numbers are not good on, not great on either of them. But
I
Arrow
didn't
is
know that. That's crazy.
fan reception for
I was
Arrow
wondering
tends
why
to be
you hadn't
better.
been talking shit as much.
Yeah, I usually
On
just
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
watch Arrow on.
I'm catching back up on Shield. I got a couple episodes left.
On mute.
So, yeah.
Anyway, dude, look, I hope that they catch up. I mean, like, as much as I troll on DC, I really do wish that they had some better stuff because I love all the characters.
Yeah.
It's just that your incessant defending of them is just like
You
so
know who's
aggravating.
another big fan of Superman?
Brock.
Quezada. Jim Quezada. He's like,
What, Man of Steel?
Joe
I was not a
Quesada.
fan
No,
of
no,
Man
no.
of
yeah,
Steel.
Joe Quezada. He's like, oh, Man of Steel. It's like such a good film, but damn, why did Zod have to be the hero? He's like, he's trying to save his race and everything like that. Did you guys read that?
No,
Yeah.
that sounds incredible though.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. He's like, I really wanted to. I'm a fan of Superman. I grew up on that shit. It's like,
Yeah, that
I
was
watched
on
the
the
movie.
that was on the Fat Man podcast a few weeks ago. That was on the Kevin Smith one.
Was it a few weeks ago?
But for some reason, people just started talking about it. Yeah.
I
He
think it
was
was last week, wasn't it?
Was it last week? That was from
maybe
a
I'm
couple weeks
behind.
ago.
Oh, dude, that's funny. Anyway,
Stupid quote. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious.
that's fucking funny.
Anyway.
Oh, did we ever figure out what 100th anniversary Marvel was talking about? The Alex Alonso thing.
Marvel.
Was that the Guardians?
Axel Alonso.
This is some bullshit miniseries that Marvel's doing, but they're doing a series of books that take place in 2061, the 100th anniversary of Marvel comics, like Fantastic Four #1. It's just some future story arc. It just sounds dumb. Anyway,
Just like DC's. What's the name of the new
Future's End.
Future's End?
Future's End. Yeah.
Where everyone's at OMAC. And, yeah.
Yeah. Well, with Future's End, we have Future's End and World's End, seemingly the end of the future and the end of Earth 2. So that Crisis on Infinite Earths may be bring back Darkseid for some big threat on action in the New 52 universe. That's what I'm
we
thinking.
haven't seen Darkseid in a while. That would make sense.
It's just the first arc. Yeah, it's just the first arc on Justice League. So
They swept him.
all right,
Yeah, they did.
we're gonna wrap up now.
Oh, no Arrow talk. They killed it.
Yeah. Well, Arrow's got a few episodes left. We'll have a big Arrow spoiler cast
next week you
at
guys
the
should
finale.
do Big Arrow.
Yeah, pretty soon. I think it's 3 left.
There's 3 episodes left.
Sounds right, 3 or 4. So
Last
we're-
episode was good.
Yeah, we're getting down to the end here in Arrow, but we'll have a big Arrow spoiler talk. And I'm hoping I actually catch up on Shield. I think Shield's got 5 left. I think it's 4 or 5. So we'll do at least one episode on Arrow. Not a whole episode, but a big Arrow talk and a big Shield talk. I should be caught up by that time. I've been trying to. I'm only a few behind now. So
And then we'll do the University Squared next week.
Yep. That's next week. Spider-Man 2 for if anyone sees it, that we'll be talking about that next week.
Who on this podcast is running to see that movie?
I'm going to see it Thursday night. It's my civic
Running
duty.
to see it? No, but I think that I'm gonna see it. Whether or not I see it opening night is sort of what's up for debate. It's kind of like The previews look so much cooler, and it cannot be as bad as the first one.
The reviews are worse than the first one.
What?
Yeah,
No.
The Rotten Tomatoes reviews, it's down a handful of percentage points from the first one, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize the first one scored so high on Rotten Tomatoes. And Toby, I'm totally not trying to make you mad. I know you like the first one a lot.
you all.
But
You like the first one?
Oh yeah.
but
That explains a lot.
Well, what's funny is I was talking to Ryan about this earlier, real quick, but there was all this buzz for Winter Soldier like a couple weeks beforehand because people were seeing it in other countries and it was being released, and there was this big buzz. Like a few people I know who work overseas had seen it already twice. They're like, I'm going to see it again. Blah. I haven't heard anything about it.
Well, Bryce, aren't you going to go watch it for the X-Men after credit scene?
oh geez, I heard they're actually doing that
Wait,
now.
that's not true.
Yes.
Yeah,
No, it
is.
is. That's what they did in Europe. They're going to do it here also.
Okay.
Because and it makes sense because a lot of people are all hyped up
but it's
off
Sony
the Marvel
versus Fox.
shit.
Why would-
But it makes sense for them because they pay for product
Fox
placement.
released. No, it's Fox releasing Mark Webb, the director, to do Spider-Man in the first place.
So is that?
they're getting free publicity for X-Men?
But is that Fox paying Sony? Because Sony has nothing.
I'm not behind the scenes. I'm just saying. This
Although I
is what
guess
I
Sony
read.
does have to benefit from that. Huh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, what I sort of rely on Rotten Tomatoes, and if this gets fucking I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see it in theater.
I'm into the whole after credits thing, but it is getting kind of blasé. Like, I mean, it's cool.
It is not ballsy.
I love it every time. All right, we're wrapping up now. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode. We'll have much more to talk about next week, so do join us again for another episode next week. Digital.comicsconspiracy.com. Go there and buy our comics, because you can't use our comiXology app to do that anymore. We're a bunch of us have a bunch of random crap that we do. Brock's got his blog at conspiratobrock.com. Omar's got comicsanddecine.com. Charlie, who's not here. We did say Charlie wasn't here. Charlie's not here. He's got the Infinite Longbox
Better late than
Infinite
never.
Longbox podcast at Infinite Longbox. Wait, is it Infinite Longbox? No, it's like the Infinite Longbox.libsyn.net or whatever. But Infinite Longbox, go find it. You'll find it. As well as The Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension, WandererIn4D.com, his Doctor Who podcast of every episode in chronological order. This episode and all of our previous ones can be found at geekbox.net, forums.geekbox.net, and go there and talk to people, as well as the Facebook, the Geekbox group on Facebook. Go over there, and Brock's like trying to like mimic mouth what I'm saying.
No.
It's kind of distracting. I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan on Twitter. Brock is Brock Sager. Omar is Comics and Decline. Larsen Bryce is Bryce Larsen.
The incredibly prolific on Twitter, Bryce Larsen.
Yeah, I like you haven't replied to anything from me for a while, so I'm assuming I'm getting replies from the last 3 weeks pretty soon.
Yeah,
so.
that's
You're getting in a row.
Yeah, I'll
Just like War of Light,
Yeah,
month
I'll
after
get a-
month.
I'll get a reply to my
Hero
Deadpool
Clicks,
Nicely,
War of
nice,
Light.
nice
We
segue.
coming at you.
Yeah, someone asked a question
But
about
first,
Hero Clicks.
Deadpool will be coming out first next month.
next-
Oh man, it's gonna be so exciting.
is
We'll
the
talk
Future
about
Past going to be pushed back anymore?
Oh fuck, I don't know. I'm just looking
killing
forward to
me.
Deadpool right now.
And Toby is Toby XI. And Charlie is Sanity and Chaos. So, yeah, that's all we got. We'll be back next week.